Caleb from Brownells here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at my LMT MARS-H. So this particular gun here is one that's is relatively new to me as far as like me actually having it goes, and I actually used this gun the week before last at the time we're filming this in a basic sniper course, and it was really good. The gun performed really well. So let's just actually talk about the firearm itself, because that video of the course will also be up on the wherever you're watching this video. That video will exist there as well. So we're gonna not talk too much about that. This is mainly just about the gun. Now, this particular setup, I wanted something I could shoot a more classic caliber in. So this one is chambered in .308. And I wanted something without, crazy long barrel. So this is a 16-inch barrel in this thing. So nice and compact. My hold at 500 with this thing is, 3.4 mils, which isn't really anything too crazy. So I thought going with the shorter barrel would actually be more than that, but it's not. So it's not bad at all. So 500 yards, and which is, I say 500, that's as far as I've personally shot this particular gun. Just because our local range, the Brownells range, is a 500 yard range. But hopefully I will be stretching it out a little bit more in the near future. Now let's talk about the stuff that's on this gun. So obviously upper receiver and lower receiver and the barrel are LMT. So they are proprietary components, so they are all matching. And my front and rear iron sights are also the LMT sights. And so moving on from there, let's actually just kind of start at the muzzle, and we'll talk about everything that's not LMT now. Because this thing, over the course of that week, I put about 500 rounds of Hornady 168 grain ELD Match through this thing, and it's just, the gun's been phenomenal. Alright, muzzle device, I am using a SureFire 30 caliber muzzle brake, and just because if I'm, shooting without the suppressor, I want to mitigate as much recoil or movement out of the gun as possible. So that's why I went with a muzzle brake, because I think it's important to be able to stay on target as much as possible and just kind of ride that recoil if you can. Not because, I can't take the recoil. It's for follow-up shots, because I know somebody already has the comment halfway typed out there, at least. And then obviously with that being a SureFire muzzle brake, even though SureFire does make their hub adapter now, I was using a SureFire suppressor. No, unfortunately this is not my suppressor. And it is the SOCOM 762. Yep, so the RC2 SOCOM 762. And man, when you keep a suppressor cover on them, they stay pretty dang clean. This thing does not even look like it's been shot on the outside, but the inside is absolutely disgusting. But yeah, overall, this was a great suppressor. The suppressor cover I was using was the Cole-TAC suppressor cover. And it's just a sleeve type system. You have this super high heat one that goes over. And then you have this other one here, which is basically like a, I would say like that wool they use to line what are they called? Kilns and forges and stuff. I'm assuming that's what it looks like anyway. I use a coal forge, so I wouldn't know. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I use as far as suppressor goes, and everything worked out pretty well on that. I will say this, at the end of the day, whenever we started shooting a lot, and my suppressor started heating up a little bit, and the recoil of the gun, combined with this stuff just getting really hot, the suppressor cover would actually slide forward a little bit. So, Cole-TAC, if you're watching this, it'd be awesome to have something around the back that kind of keeps that from happening. I don't know. Other than that, really great though. Okay, so let's talk about bipods and bipod mounting systems here. So, the bipod's mounted to an ARCA rail. This is the Ultradyne ARCA rail. And I went with this one because I wanted something that was good lengthwise and something that just wasn't an absolute chunk of, you know, metal. And this one's ventilated pretty good, so it doesn't add too much weight to the gun. And then the bipod I'm using, the MDT Bipod. Yes, the one that, you know, Lucas Botkin started a bunch of drama with on X a while back. Do I think this is probably one of the best bipods out there? Absolutely. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. They're really expensive, but you get what you pay for. I will say that had I been using another bipod for this course, it wouldn't have been impossible. I would have just been inconvenienced by a few things, a few flaws of other bipods. So that's all I'm going to say about bipods. This is a great bipod. All right. Now, moving on from there, bolt carrier group, bolt, all that stuff, LMT, nothing crazy. Not too much to talk about on that. Yes, I do. This gun is absolutely filthy. No, I have not cleaned it since I shot that course. So, the carbon and dirt and all that other junk just kind of builds character for now. And that just reminds me I do actually need to clean this thing. Okay. Let's talk about optics and optic mounts. So the optic mount is the SPUHR mount. I'm using the QD version. You can see the kind of QD levers on there. And this mounting system is it's great. And behind the gun, so I was shooting a little bit left and right-handed, and the bubble level system is actually on the back right here. So shooting with both eyes open, I could just kind of see my bubble out of my peripheral, regardless of which side of the gun I was on, and adjust it that way. Whereas having like a bubble level off on one side or the other, you know, you can't shoot ambidextrous that way and keep everything level. I mean, you can, it's just more of an inconvenience, obviously. It's not as fast as this. So that was good. The optic, this particular one is the Nightforce NX8, 2.5 to 20. And, I mean, 20 power optic was everything I needed. At 500 yards, you know, you don't really need much more than that unless you're trying to, like, shoot really small things. We were shooting at, on our 500 yard, we have some 6-inch steel plates, and this was plenty to see and engage those, so that was fine. And then on the top here, this is the old Aimpoint Acro H1. Obviously there's a lot newer ones out there now, but this one still gets the job done. I actually don't, it is zeroed, but I don't really use it for shooting, obviously. So if I'm transitioning on targets and I'm trying to transition quickly, and I'm on a higher magnification, so I don't have to like sit there in the optic and try and find what I'm aiming at. So usually, you know, when you do that, if I'm shooting at a far target and I want to transition to a close target, you'll see a lot of times what people end up doing is they turn their magnification down, find their target, then turn it back up. I just leave it cranked, and then, you know, shoot my first target, find my second target in my red dot, and then come back down on the scope, and it's on. It's way faster than reaching up and not using profanity. It's much faster than, you know, messing around with other stuff. Yeah, I'll keep it PG. But the charging handle is the LMT Ambidextrous charging handle. Kind of looks like one of the old PRI like gas busters. I don't know if it was like inspired by that or anything, or if they make it. I have no idea. That's just kind of what it gives me vibes of. Selector, the forward controls design. Ambidextrous selector here. And forward controls design 308 mag catch button. And the trigger is the Geissele SSA-E X lightning bow, which was like the best as far as like AR-15 or AR-308 triggers go. This is the best trigger in the world, and you will not convince me otherwise. Every time I say that, someone comes into the comments and starts talking about LaRue triggers. I don't even want to hear it. This trigger beats the brakes off of any trigger LaRue makes, but whatever. We're not here to talk about that. Anyway, the actual trigger guard itself is also forward controls design. And then the grip on this one, I went with the This is the Magpul, I think this is the K2 Plus, if I remember correctly. It is one of the wider grips. The first grip I had on here was the dye-free Kung Fu grip. I absolutely love that grip. But for heavier guns, I like more to grab onto. You know, it's easier to do, you know, manipulations and stuff like that when you have just more to hold onto on a heavier gun. So until Dye-Free Co. comes out with that a thicker grip, I don't know if they are or not. I mean, it'd be great to just, if you're watching this, guys, you know, Defco, make a thicker grip. That'd be awesome. Okay, so moving on from there. The thing about the LMT MARS-H versus like a DPMS pattern 308 or anything like that, like your DPMS pattern stuff uses standard length buffer tubes, even with the carbine buffer. The LMT MARS-H uses a A5 length buffer tube with a standard AR-15 length carbine buffer. I know that may have sounded confusing. We do have a video specifically on that, so if you want to know more about that, just go follow that, because that's, I couldn't say that without getting into the next point I was about to make here. And that is the actual receiver extension, or buffer tube, is a Sons of Liberty Gunworks A5. I couldn't remember if that was what was on this gun or another gun, and it is. So Sons of Liberty Gunworks A5 length buffer tube. Forward Controls Design A5 length castle nut. So the castle nut's actually a little bit longer than a standard castle nut. And then a Bravo Company QD end plate, because those are super simple and they're super minimal. They're perfect. Okay, I think they're super underrated actually. All right, and then the stock itself is a B5 Systems adjustable stock. This is like their PRS like style stock. And with that, I have a Anarchy Outdoors cheek pad. This is a foam stick-on cheek piece. This is the universal model, so you can cut it and install it to whatever gun you want. These things are absolutely phenomenal. I have been putting them on almost every gun I have that has a magnified optic on it, just because they're so good. The only thing I don't like about this particular stock, and it's not the stock's fault because they make the exact version I want, I just put the wrong version on my gun, if that makes sense. And this particular one has the smaller cheek weld area, but the way like my length of pull and everything is set up, I actually need my cheek piece to be a little bit further forward, which, like I said, they make two different variants with longer cheek pieces, so it's not B5's fault, it's my fault for picking the wrong stock. But I know you're saying, Caleb, why didn't you just swap it out? Because I had already painted it, all right? I painted it to match everything, and it's honestly, it's not that big of a deal. It's still, I can still get on it comfortably. I just wish it was a little bit further forward, if that makes sense. But yeah, so if it hindered me in any way as far as actual shooting goes, I wouldn't care about the paint. I would actually swap out to what works, because it actually, despite what the internet tells you, it working is more important than how it looks. But it wasn't that big of a deal, so we just stuck with the paint job. And the paint job itself is the Brownells, or KG Industries GunKotes. So it is a bake-on finish. So I completely disassembled the firearm, you know, degreased everything, airbrushed it on there, baked it, and then reassembled everything. And that's the finish. All right. I think I pretty much covered everything. The buffer and spring are like standard mil-spec stuff, so not too much to talk about there. But yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you think I am just absolutely bonkers for spending this much on a bipod, then let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.